recording. I apologize again. I have to start all over. Again, I welcome every one of you to the Evangelism Conference, the first of its kind, as far as I know, an all online conference about how to do the Great Commission on the internet. While the COVID virus has, of course, obviously forced every one of us to start learning, at least those who are pastors or workers in the church, to learn about how to use the power of the internet to share the Great Commission, I think is a lot deeper than that. And I'm so glad that I put this together as a 3-day conference. It's going to be recorded. And of course, the recording is going to be sold later for those who miss the live event. I made it free so that everybody can learn for free, so that it's not like you're trying to take advantage of the crisis out there in the country to charge money. But the recording of it, we are going to have to sell later because this is a business. Evangelism 360 helps churches. That's what we do, to take advantage of social media and the internet to further their gospel commission. We help them to set up online platforms. We help them to create mobile apps for their churches. We do consulting for them on how best they can structure their online ministry. But this conference was made free for all for a very special reason. I wanted everybody to get a first opportunity to learn the little that I know, and for us to exchange ideas about how this can work for them. So we're going to be having 2 sessions every day. The morning session, where I will cover maybe 2 sessions. Then we go for break, a 1 or 2 hours break, then come back in the evening, because obviously we can't stay on the live on the internet for 8 hours straight. I can do it, but many people either cannot even afford to do that, or we just need a break like any normal conference. So this morning we want to start with our very first lecture of the day. The way this is going to work is that I'm going to share the PowerPoint as I'm talking. If you have questions as the presentation is going on, you want to post it in the chat so that I can respond to you. And after each presentation, we're going to have a Q&A session where you can ask me questions. You can post whatever issues you have with what I just taught, so that I can enlighten it. And of course, you will always have an opportunity for everyone who attends this call. We're going to give you opportunity to book a one-on-one call. I'm going to give a 45-minute call for pastors who want to discuss further how we can help their church or their ministry in terms of being able to take advantage of the internet. If you don't know the agenda for today, I encourage you want to go to the Evangelism Conference page and scroll through some of the topics we're going to be covering. It may not be in that exact order, because as things move, things change, okay? But we're going to try very hard to stay faithful to most of those stuff you want to learn there. And we cover as much as we can. After the conference is over, obviously, negotiations continue, and we continue to discuss how to help you. So I want to start out with what the first topic I even planned. The way I even see it, you might say, for the record, because I see so many of you, I don't assume that everybody knows who I am. My name is Okwebanwo, and I'm the convener of the conference. You can just Google me to find out all you need to know about me, rather than me spending 15, 20 minutes trying to give you my profile. But believe me, I do understand how this works. This is what I do mostly for a living now, even though I'm an attorney with a 20-person law firm here in the US. I haven't personally been in court for almost 2 years. I have lawyers who do that. I do mostly digital business, consulting for companies, banks, churches, everybody, on how to maximize the internet. So that's all I will say. You want to know more about me, just all you simply do is type Okwebanwo into the Google chat, and you will get the full measure. So as with everything, I always like to start with foundation. So this morning we're going to have 2 sessions. I'm going to talk to you about why evangelism is even so critical to your ministry now. Even though you might say that topic is even a moot point. Churches don't have a point. They don't have a choice now. They have to go learn it. But I still believe having the mental background of why you need to do this. Because many of us are doing this because we saw emergency of COVID-19. But I'm saying even there was no COVID, okay? This is something every church should still have taken very seriously. So that's why I'm still going to go over that first session, even though it might sound like I'm repeating what you have already known or believed. But for me, it is very important for you to understand the factual basis about why you need to do this. I see you, Mr. Ian from Lagos. I see so many of you typing in here. Sorry if I don't respond to you directly, but because I'm in the flow of the presentation now. But I will answer specific questions. My point is, if people don't understand why Netvangelism is critical for them today, when the crisis of COVID goes down, the tendency might be for them to go back to their old habits. But it's important for you to understand that this thing here, it might have been forced on you by emergency, because so many of you signed up for this. I mean, we have like, I think 480 people that signed up for this. Fortunately, I did not send a reminder right now, so I don't know how many will make it in here, but I have to go. I woke up very late. I didn't sleep until like 5 a.m. By the time I woke up, it was 10 minutes to go. So I'm scrambling right now, trying to get this going, because I don't like to start anything late. I told people 10 a.m. New York time, so we have to go. So forgive me if I was able to do that last minute stuff, invite everybody to come again, but it's being recorded. So those who missed it can always buy the recorded version later and then go with it. But what I'm trying to say is that it's important to get the theoretical basis for why you need to take this evangelism thing serious. COVID-19 might have forced the issue, okay? But COVID-19 is just a catalyst to make you start thinking about it more than you were thinking before. But the evangelism idea transcends this crisis that we are going through right now. This crisis will be over by God's grace, and none of us shall be victim of it in the mighty name of Jesus. It shall be over no matter how dear everybody is talking. In another 2-3 months, hopefully the thing will die. It's a virus. It will go as suddenly as it has come in the mighty name of Jesus. It will be gone. But what I don't want you to do is to think that the crisis is over and then you go back to your normal doing church as usual. Events have overtaken that. The world is moving faster than that. So let me quickly go through that as the first session. Again, after I do that, which I call more or less the introduction part of this, then we take a little Q&A. Then we talk about some foundational things, how to do stuff in your church right now, which is what many of us really are very interested in. What can I do now? But I'm not into short-term fixes. I'm thinking that you need to have a holistic approach to this thing. You need to understand the full breadth of it. That's why I made it a 3-day event. I could have done a 1-hour workshop and tell you the kind of stuff you can do right now to keep church going. But to me, that is like putting Band-Aid on a major surgery. We need to look at the whole thing holistically. And then if you have questions that are particular to your ministry that you want us to be able to answer, you simply book an appointment, okay, a free 45-minute appointment. We will talk one-on-one on video from beginning from Thursday, and I can help you the best I can. It's a free call. But anything beyond that free call, obviously, we are going to be charging. This is our business. This is not a charity organization. Evangelism 360 is a registered limited liability company. But I also understand it's church, so we have to do as much as we can for our pastors, particularly the small pastors who don't really have a lot of resources to put into this. All right, I always say that the harvest. So I want to talk about why Netvangelism. So the first session is why Netvangelism needs to be a church priority today. See, the harvest is plentiful online, but the laborers are very few, untrained, and mostly unaware of the right fields. It was amazing yesterday, on Saturday, I had to deal with, I think, approximately maybe about 12 to 14 pastors who are inboxing me, needing help on what they can do on Sunday. Some level of competence is different. There was even one of those pastors who doesn't even know how to create a Facebook page. And he was desperate. He had to say something to his people. He doesn't even know what to do. His church, he said, is about 90 people or so. That's still a lot of souls. And then we had to quickly agree, okay, let him just record his sermon. Then I'll help him create his YouTube account. And then he can start trying to get it to his members. And so it's just a mess. It caught us unawares. Many churches are going to find out over the next 4 to 6 weeks that they should have been doing this 1 year ago, 2 years ago. Because the harvest is there. When they say 3,000 people, 3 billion people are just on Facebook alone every day. then you know that we have a lot of work cut out for us. If there can be any positivity from this COVID thing, it will be that it is forcing churches now to look at how they can do God's work outside of their church building. All of a sudden, their beautiful church buildings is no longer relevant as far as spreading the word of God is concerned, because nobody is there. So they have to show that their church is a lot more than just a building. Paul was an expert builder on the foundation of Christ. I mean, we have been building on that foundation with physical church structures and activities and discipleship, and that is great. But now is the time to do the same thing for the internet, as we all just found out. Literally overnight, churches can't meet again. It's not that you don't want to meet, but the government and even health issues is mandating that you can't meet. Then what? Does it mean that people will no longer be fed? Does it mean that the only thing we are going to give them is just church service on Sunday that we manage to put together? What will happen to evangelism? What will happen to discipleship? What will happen to fellowship of believers? So it seems like in today's busy, warped, and degenerate world, with the exception of few churches, general church attendance seems to be on the decline. All these were prepared even before COVID, guys. So you can see some of the references there, they're on the decline. Right now, there is zero in many places. The local church I attend in Omaha now, where the church is over 5,000 members, but they couldn't open. We are all forced to figure out a way to attend church online. Now, Bible studies have been put on hold. Counseling has been put on hold because they didn't know that they can do all of that, or there was no structure on ground to do that online. People still need deliverance. People still need prayers. People are still going to be planning to get married, so they need counseling. All of that don't need to be on hold if the church structured itself better. That is what this is all about. So, but even before COVID, attendance was on the decline. Churches are losing members day by day. More and more people are losing out on the opportunity to hear about the reconciliation with their Creator and the wonderful life that Jesus had to offer, because they don't go to church for one reason or the other. All right? Internet evangelism is one of the emerging secret weapons for reaching more people for Christ around the world. When this COVID thing is over, many churches will actually do thanksgiving that God used that opportunity, that sad situation, that bad disease, to force them to actually see what God has been trying to tell us. I, for one, have been having a very strong leading from God since 2017 to try to figure out how I can help churches structure on the internet. I'm talking full-fledged structure, not just broadcasting their services. But I didn't take it serious. I was making money online. I was helping people do stuff. I was doing all sorts of stuff. But I wasn't focusing on doing God's work as a full-fledged church online, other than the occasional sermons. All right? So internet is one of those secret weapons that God wants to use. Sharing the gospel online provides the opportunity for churches to reach far more people than those in their geographical reach, even when churches are open. Once you understand the dynamics of the internet and you put those structure, and I'm not saying it's easy. Some of us now, I was scanning my Facebook every 5 minutes yesterday, and I was just in shock at the rudimentary level that even some of the big churches are. Some of them are still at the level where they send their choir to go to their church building and they are singing on the pulpit, and then they are broadcasting that live. And I'm like, what? This should be a direct to internet service now, where people get a full measure of it. Many of them are not aware of basic software that are even free, that they can use to do live service, that they can use to do discipleship, that they can use to do counseling. And we're going to be talking about that in a separate session later, when I share about simple tools that you can use so that people can go get it. Many of them are free, or they cost very little for you to get. All right. So internet, the sharing the gospel online provides the opportunity for churches to reach far more people than those in their geographical reach. You don't have to be limited in your anointing to those who come to your service on Sunday. You can be in Lagos and be saving souls in China. That's what the internet presents. Okay, internet evangelism enables even any ministry, church, or pastor to reach previously unreachable people worldwide with minimum investment. Some of it, of course, will involve some investment running adverts. Yesterday, when we did our live Cyber Embassy of Christ thing, I think during the live service, we had a total of maybe 270 people who that we reached, that were watching. But today, if you go and look at that same video, over 2,000 views now, and I've not even promoted it. Later today, during the break, I'm going to put like $50. I'm going to promote that service of yesterday so that we can reach maybe another 20,000 people. That is huge. If you understand that a soul is a soul is a soul. So 20,000 people watching a sermon is equivalent to 20,000 human beings staying in the pulpit. Yeah, maybe not exactly the same, because most online will not watch all the sermon at the same time. Those in the physical building are probably forced to listen throughout to the pastor. But how many people listen for a full 1 hour anyway? Some are already on their phone, some men are distracted. But my point is, if we can reach 20,000 people with only $50, then churches need to be thinking, how should I be investing the little that God has given me? Where on the internet, you can have a video there and it can still be usable or still be saving lives 1 year from now, simply because you did some SEO and you did some stuff to make it reach many people. So we can reach a lot more people for Christ now with the internet, with a fraction of the cost of what it takes us to get a soul into a physical building. Now, I'm not against physical churches. Those will always be there. Physical will never go away. We are all human beings. We are physical human beings. We are still going to go to physical buildings. But return on investment, now we need to be rethinking it. That's going to be the theme throughout this conference. Why the internet is the next battleground for the Great Commission. Still on this first topic, we need to get it that the Great Commission asks us to go, and it is time to go online for the harvest. They're there. All sorts of perverted souls are online. All sorts of crazy people there. All the people that need Christ, they are all there on the internet now. And when Jesus said, go, the time is now. We got to go. But you can't go if you don't have the tools to go there. Right? I can't say thank God for COVID. People will say I'm a wicked person. But COVID, sometimes God brings some disasters on us to force us to do some stuff. And I'm not saying that's why it brought COVID. Don't misunderstand me. But every disaster, God always has a good that He can bring out of it. COVID-19 is a very bad thing. It's killing people all over the world. But God has plenty good He wants to bring out of it. One of them is to force its church to focus on the internet as a means of sharing the gospel. We as a church, the church body needs to actually take over the internet. I want it to be a situation. The vision I see is where everywhere you turn online, all you are seeing is something to do with Christ. That is, it gets that boring. Looks like that device hasn't been set up yet. Okay, sorry. In the Google Home app. Hey, Google, keep quiet. Okay, sorry, my Google went off. So my point is, we need the time for us to go is now. And online with 3 billion souls on Facebook every day or every month, whatever that was. But I heard it's 3 billion. Facebook itself has over 2 billion users. That the time is now. And I'm glad we are all being forced to face the reality. The internet is where billions of souls are hibernating in soul-destroying pastime, just waiting for divine activation. So what if every church out there, I'm talking about hundreds and hundreds of thousands of churches, having one program or the other going on every hour on the internet, all of a sudden conversation will change. The way people talk will change. The way people think will change. We influence conversations out there. And that is why I'm so excited and I'm committed to this evangelism thing as a big part of my digital business, even if I'm doing most of this part for non-profit, but I think it is worth it. Number 3, the internet is where you can influence people more in numbers than at physical locations. We've talked about that because you can influence people in so many directions online, from Facebook to Twitter to Instagram, and you can influence them at the level they are comfortable with. Some youths, it's just banners. They want to listen, they want to watch a 5-minute video or 3-minute video, 3-minute sermons, 1-minute sermons. This is the direction things are going now because that is how you can impact people more. No longer 1-hour sermons. My service yesterday, for instance, my sermon was 45 minutes and I was kicking myself after. That what kind of rubbish is that? Sermons on the internet should not be more than 25 minutes, 20 minutes. You can still preach the word. You can still make it impactful without it being so long, because people cannot stay on that phone for 1 hour at a time. So it's a whole new idea about how to do church now. Your church services will now have to be carefully structured, that maybe the whole service is no more than 1 hour. 30 minutes even better. Because remember, you can do more than one service a week, so there's no problem. But a 30-minute service, that is from beginning to the end, from praise and worship to closing prayer. If it is like 30 minutes, you're going to get a lot more people paying attention. If it is 1 hour, maybe less, but it's still good. Anything over 1 hour, all of a sudden, it's probably going to be too big to get people to focus to the end. Although the diehards will still do it, but we will come to that, how to structure your weekly service. The internet is where most people spend their time, emotion, money, and energy. So, and if you want to engage them, you got to go online. COVID is forcing you to think it, but I want you to think globally, is where I'm going with this first presentation, so that you see that even when this crisis subsides, this is not going to change. If anything, it's going to increase. More people are going to spend more time and energy online in this, as social distancing becomes the new normal. People are now going to be very wary about being in crowds. Massive churches are going to see a big decline for months, even after COVID is over. Because now people are thinking about it. They are seeing the image of those guys on the cruise lines, how they were quarantined, how one person caught it and almost everybody got it. So as they are coming to your big church, they are thinking at the back of their mind, as all of us are screaming and shouting and praying, who knows what disease somebody is spreading? It's going to be in people's mind. So decline in church membership is not going to end when COVID ends. Maybe once they declare victory over it, maybe in 1 or 2 weeks, there'll be a lot of people rushing to do Thanksgiving. But I'm telling you, it's in people's mind. So social distancing is going to be here with us for a long time. Meaning more people are going to spend more time in non-contact environments like the internet than they're even doing now. They're going to spend their money there. They're going to spend their energy there, arguing back and forth. They're going to spend their emotions there. And the church needs to be structured to be there with them 7 days a week. I'm not talking about broadcasting your service on Sunday. You need to have a program that you do on Monday that benefits them, on Tuesday, on Wednesday, more than one. At the Cyber Embassy right now, I think we have like 4 programs a day. It don't matter whether it's 1 or 2 people that attended each. To me, I always tell my members, it's irrelevant. It's recorded, it's out there. God will direct whoever needs to benefit from it at some point. A video you posted today may save life 3 years from now. Let's keep pumping it out there. We have a Kingdom Talk every day that I do. We have Prayer Surge. We have Who Wants to Be a Disciple. We are structuring as if we are a full-fledged online church, and that is where you need to go if you are watching this. You will not, of course, close your physical church. I'm saying you are now going to have, as if you are opening a new parish. You want to think about that, where you now have your digital pastor, and they are running a digital online church that is actually full-fledged, almost independent of the physical church, other than connecting them every once in a while. The same way you have your parishes doing their thing. And then when you want to have a big event, everybody comes together. That is where the internet should be going as far as churches is concerned, and what we're going to be sharing over the next 3 days. The internet is the new battleground between all spiritual kingdoms. I say this all the time. There is no unbeliever. Somebody believes in something. Everybody believes in something. The ones that believe in juju, the ones that believe are Muslims, the one that believes in Hare Krishna, the one that believes in no God, the one that believes in no belief. Everybody believes in something. And they are all out there on the internet sharing their own faith. So if the church is not out there joining in this spiritual fight, we will be losing our people to the kingdom of darkness. When you are to search on Facebook, for instance, and search for Church of Satan, some of them have hundreds of thousands of followers. Some of them will post a video. I saw a video there that has over 600,000 views from the Church of Satan. And it was a scary video, like 27 minutes long, and hundreds of thousands of comments. Where do you think those people came from? Some of them probably were people who used to attend church before. They got disillusioned, but when they got online, what they are seeing is Church of Satan stuff. Initially, they'll be scared to watch, then they watch a little, then they watch a little. Before they know it, they are sucked in. The antidote for that is for that to be so much a Christian-related output out there. The funny, the dramatic, the not just the boring church stuff that people can go watch so that you can keep them in the faith. Number 6, internet is not a place where even unbelievers can help you spread the gospel. I was sharing this with somebody and they were laughing in our group on WhatsApp, my workers for the Cyber Embassy of Christ. We have over 240 workers who are volunteered to be workers in our church. And I was telling them that we need to use a lot of banners. That those banners, you tell your friends to share it. That some of your friends may be Muslim, they may not be, may even be unbelievers. But if the banner looks good, they share it. That is an unbeliever sharing the gospel message. It's a whole new day. One was arguing with me that how can an unbeliever share gospel message? I said, what is gospel message? Is a gospel message. For instance, if it is a verse on a banner with one line explanation, that's a gospel message. If an unbeliever shares it with 10 of his friends, he's sharing the gospel message. He himself has not yet accepted the gospel, but he's sharing it. Out of those 10 people he shared it to, one person of them may decide to start checking out the claim of Christ and ultimately become a Christian. That person has inadvertently shared the gospel of God, the gospel of Christ, even though he himself doesn't believe in Christ. It's a whole new revolution that is happening, guys. Unbelievers can spread the way people just share photos without even thinking about it. All right, they share it and they share it with 100 friends. The next thing you know, they know, particularly if you give them incentive. If you share with 100 people, I will give you a recharge card of 100 naira. People will share like crazy. Those are little things that churches can use to spread their message. It won't matter. They will share, but you know, the God that leads people to himself will use those sharing to call those that he wanted to call. So I wanted to make that there. So that's our first, what I call introductory session, to make this, to put this in context for every one of us, why it is absolutely important for us to take Netvangelism as an article of faith, something that a major project for every church. I know it is now because of the COVID thing, but many are still looking at it as something they have to fight for as an emergency. And I'm saying, no, it's not just an emergency. Emergency is temporal. Emergency is going to be gone soon. But make this a necessity for your church to have a robust structure on the internet. You need to be thinking, how do I do fellowship on the internet? It is very easy to do. We're going to talk a lot about it as we go forward in this conference. How do I do discipleship? Right now, we are training people in the class 101 of our church. That is the Discovering Church membership. It's a 4-class training, and we have them in a private Facebook group, and then they sign up, and every day they get a video, they get a training on that part of it. Why not? Your discipleship class in your church doesn't have to stop if the church cannot meet. You can have structures online that you put together over time, have your sign-up page, have the follow-up emails that will remind them about the class, and have a trainer that is going to stand up into the group and do live broadcast. Bible studies, we're already doing that on Thursdays now. The world has not ended. So you have to be thinking about that. How do we do evangelism for real online as a deliberate strategy? The same way you sit down and say, let us go fishing off the record. You print flyers, you do banners, you do crusades. How can we do the same thing on the internet? That is where this is going. And those sons of Issachar and daughters of Issachar who understand the sign of the times and who know what to do, they are the ones that God is going to be credit bigly for taking advantage of this season. Because we are in a new season, God is doing something fresh as far as internet is concerned. And you as a pastor, you as a worker that is watching this, you need to understand that the battle line is drawn. As a matter of fact, one of my friends, Pastor Leke, he told me yesterday when we were doing preparation to his service to see how it's going to go. And he told me that I'm going to deliver my sermon in full battle gear. That is total war now. I say, yes, I agree with you. But it's not just war against COVID. It is war, internet war. You need to see it. Territories have been taken. But the church, somehow, we are still a little bit reluctant. The church has the resources. Many churches will gladly spend hundreds of thousands to get people into their church on Sunday morning, physical church. But they won't think about put in $50 to run an advert on Facebook. One of the biggest churches in Nigeria, we just debated this recently. And I'm like, what is your budget for the internet? He was looking at me. I said, your church is very big. You guys make millions of naira every month. You are one of the biggest churches in Nigeria. What is your budget for the internet? He's looking at me like, you got to have a big budget. This is it's like starting a whole new parish. And we're going to, when we come back for the second session, we're going to be talking about the foundational things. Again, I made it a 3-day conference for a reason. I could come here and spend 1 hour and just talk about things you can do now to get people, connect with your people during COVID. But that's not me. That's not the assignment God has sent to me. I will get there, but be patient. I'm going somewhere here. Next, we are going to talk about foundational structures, because you cannot build anything lasting if you don't build the foundation. And the more you hear about the foundation, the more you are going to start taking action. Some of them are not easy, I agree. Many of you are going to listen to this, you're going to make notes, and then you're going to go your way. But you're going to come back 1 year or 2 years from now, you're going to do it. Guaranteed. Because at that point, like COVID, you will not have a choice. If you used to have 200 people in your church before, and all of a sudden, it went to 160, 140, 120, despite all your fasting and praying, finally, you will recognize what I'm saying now, that your people are online. There's no point bitching about online or complaining about online. Go look for them there. Go minister to them there. But how do you do that? You need the right foundations, or it's not going to happen. You need the right foundations, or the church will not grow on the internet. The internet church scene has grown beyond broadcasting your service on Sunday morning. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a full-fledged parish of your church operating on the internet. Now, don't focus on what you cannot do online. That's the mistake many pastors do. You focus on what you cannot do, instead of focusing on those 90-something% of stuff that you can do to advance the cause of the kingdom. The one that you cannot do physically online, then that can be delegated offline. But you do most of it. Learn how to do most of it online. That's it for this first part of it. I'm going to switch now to the second presentation before we break for lunch. I'm going to do 2 presentations before we have a big break, so that you guys can recharge your phones and whatever, and then we come back. But any questions so far from what from this introduction? I would like to take a couple of questions as I flip to the next presentation here. Please post your comments again. It will be appreciated if you can quickly post it so that I can address it before we go to the next before I go to the next presentation here. Come on, guys. I'm waiting. I'm going to give you, I know some of you have to type, so I'm going to give you some time to do this. Where's I'm trying to get my slide. Okay. All right. I'm waiting for your questions. I'm not seeing any. There's so many of you here. It doesn't mean that you don't have any questions on everything. As I said, observation. I need this to be a participatory thing. This is not a, how will I call it? All right. There's a chat screen on your, all right. I see Xperia. Please, I don't know where you're calling in from, but say, thank you, sir. Is it possible to get these teachings I just came in? Yes, the recorded version of this is going to be sold. It's not going to be free. I want to be very frank out there. There's a reason I made it free, a live event. Those who are who took it serious enough to come in live, they got to watch it for free. But at the end of the conference, the package itself is going to be sold to those who are interested for a very reasonable price, because we have to cover our costs too. All right, and then several other things that we can do to help our churches going forward. Actually, I've created an evangelism inner circle for pastors, which is going to be like a kind of club where pastors can sign in, where we can progressively begin to do training for them every week, answering their questions, helping them to implement some of this stuff, because it's so easy to say, to teach it, but people, when it comes to implementation, is where they run into problem. So we are going to have an evangelism inner circle. It's going to be a paid membership, something small every month, like maybe $47 or something like that, nothing major, but they have to pay something for it to be members of that club. And then we're going to have, I'm going to explain all of that later. But as for the recording of this, it is going to be available, but it will not be free. We sold for a very small amount, maybe $97 for the whole package or something like that. I haven't decided. Right now, my interest is sharing with those who took the time to be here and taking their questions and then fine-tuning it and then putting the package together later. All right, I hope that answers your question. Okay. All right, how can we get it? I'm a pastor in Nigeria. My flight was canceled. All right, this is online anyway. It's not a physical event. You are already attending it, sir. You know, your flight being canceled is irrelevant. That's why this is online. That link that you used to be watching this, that's the link you want to keep. It's the same link we are going to be using over the next 3 days. I'm going to, after we take the lunch break, then I'm going to go out there and post the links in different, because I know a lot of people, we got over 400 and something people registered, but I forgot to send the reminder before I got online right now. And then I need to post the link to join us in the several groups, the Netvangelism page on Facebook and all that. But we got to do what we can do right now, okay? So that is that for this first session. And we're going to go to the second session in a minute.